Hey everyone, Peachy out here, and we're back live again from my little garage to work on Mark's 1.8T again. Now this is tonight, it's working on his old motor. So the goal today is to take everything off of here to move it over to the new engine. So we're gonna get to work because this is Pinchal's garage. Yeah, buddy. So for tonight, gloves are going to play a vital role tonight. And taking things off chunks at a time and then moving stuff over as efficiently as possible is very, very important when doing a big move like this. What's going on, Tiny? Because your main goal when moving all this is to keep things under control so they don't break or become a disaster. So that's kind of the biggest words of advice that I can give you. If you can get 2x4s and dump them in down here, nice. One thing I like to do is cram 2x4s in areas that can be weak points where the engine can fall over while you're working. You don't want an engine to fall on you. I've already had that happen twice. No fun. So 2x4s are going to be like your best friend in this scenario. Just to make your motor as steady as possible. I wouldn't recommend taking the transmission off until everything else is off to lighten the load. That way you just save yourself a lot of the transmission helps a lot to keep it steady until you're done. I would probably put the transmission on or take it off last as you work. So for right now, I'm taking stuff off that I know that just doesn't matter right now. So my first thing I would do in any scenario right now is the intake manifold. It's kind of the biggest and clunkiest part to get out. It's also the easiest one to get out in this scenario. It's just a couple 10 millimeters here, and then everything else, and a bunch of 5 millimeter Allens. Yeah, make room because I don't have a lot of room. Okay. Let's see here. What's going on, banging? All right, so some things you can break because you're gonna end up breaking a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm just being honest with you guys. A lot of stuff wasn't really designed to come out after 20 years easily, so be ready just to like break a couple lines. It's okay, you can replace them. What's going on, David? My birthday was good, buddy. Pretty chill with hanging out with some friends, you know. Was at a car show. It's always a win when you're at a car show when it's your birthday. Okay, so I just detached the fuel rail. I'm probably gonna remove the secondary. Yeah, I'm gonna remove the secondary air injection, just because that's gonna be more in the way than everything else. I mean, I got a lot of texts from a lot of people. If I didn't get it, I mean, I'm sorry if I didn't respond. I was a little drunk, just to be honest. I did drink a lot, or or a little bit. So if I didn't respond, either way, very much appreciated. Not even lying. It's actually the first birthday in 2 years that was actually very fun. I had a lot of fun on my birthday. You know, COVID kind of put a halt on a lot of fun stuff, so for me to be able to be out in public and have fun was very rewarding and refreshing, honestly. Thank you, David. George Pacheco, definitely, but I mean, I don't know how much in a rush you are. I mean, I got this engine, that engine, and another one ahead of you. So there's about 3 engines ahead of you. If you're not in a rush, then yeah, I'll take the work. So secondary air injection just came out. And yes, banging. Funny thing, I actually want to start building engines. I've been wanting to start building engines and selling them for a long time. I just never had the space for it, but I will soon. I will very soon. I got some pretty cool ideas coming up in the works to expand my my workshop, so I actually can build motors and sell motors at a very, very fair price. Let's see, Ivan, I have a 24 valve I want to build NA for at least 400. You can't build an NA 24 valve for 400. Sorry, buddy. Not unless you got like 10 grand. And at that point, you might as well just build a turbo one. Sorry, Ivan. You could probably 2.8. I think the world record for a 2.8 is 280, I believe. There's a guy I forgot his name. He's got a ridiculous, I mean, but it's over 10 grand in modifications. I've been talking to him because he's the one giving me the advice on a high performance 12 valve, and it's not cheap, dude. It's not cheap at all. So yeah, I don't know if your pockets are that deep. George Pacheco, what are you in the market for, huh? What are you trying to do, buddy? I'm right here. I can talk. So this is the notorious SAI system that always breaks. Yeah, I broke it. Hopefully Mark can forgive me after I broke it. I'll fix it, but it's broken right now. I just cut it out because it was just pointless in trying to be nice and removing it nicely. I'll repair it as I put it all back together. It's easier to do that than trying to move everything as one piece. Yeah, those tubes just break, dude. Freaking garbage. What's going on, Luis? George, where do you live? That's the first thing. Where do you live? Because most of the time, if you live too far, it's cheaper for me to go pull a junkyard motor than for you to ship it to me. Cost? Mark's motor, I think for him, for a fresh rebuild, was about, I'd say, 700, 800 bucks for a full rebuild. Again, Ivan, I don't know what your end goal is, but if you're trying to make power on a naturally aspirated 24 valve, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a pipe dream, but you need big pockets, man. You know, no disrespect. It's just, it's not cheap. I mean, I'm going through 12 valve right now, and it's just not cheap to build a nice VR6 engine for naturally aspirated performance right now. The market's screwed right now because of cost. So it's substantially cheaper to go turbo versus NA. I mean, a turbo build will get you around 4 to 6 grand easily. Just shopping for your parts right, you can get it. Yeah, it's George. I'd rather just pull a junkyard motor for you, buddy. You know, as simple as shipping a motor sounds, if you can ship me a motor for under $100, then do it. But I'd be impressed if it won't be cheaper than $500 to ship me a motor, and I can get you a complete 1.8T for under $400. So I would definitely recommend to see what it would cost you to ship a motor to me, George, before you even ship one. See what your actual starting cost is, and then go from there. Because if it's gonna cost you too much, don't do it, dude. It's not smart, honestly. Just because it'll cost you too much. So definitely do your research before you do it. Because again, it'll cost you too much money. I could pull a junkyard motor in like, I think 2 hours, because I just gotta snip everything and not even care and just yank it out. You know, versus an actual like pull from a car, you know. Eurospecs, you're right down the road, fool. You don't even live that far. Just bring it over. What's going on, Ty? Nice. Yeah, I mean, George, again, I have quite a few other motors ahead of you. And and a line of other people that are getting ready for this too, that want me to build a motor for them. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I'm trying to figure out how quick I can get one done, like overall quickness. I mean, you're probably looking September. No. You're probably looking November, December for me to build you a motor. Does that seem reasonable for you, George? How much we building a 5.0? I would love some spare hands, Ty. If you're willing to come over and help, fuck yeah, dude. I'd love for you to come over and help out. It'd be super helpful. Yeah, Tiny, a 5.0, I mean, they're not expensive. Since it's a Ford 5 liter, they're actually pretty cheap. You can build a 5 liter for under $1,000. You know, 5 liters are like the Honda Civic B16s of the world. They're dirt cheap and super easy to build because they're so cheap. They're not very good engines, but they're cheap. So, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. I built a couple V8s before. And 5 liters are pretty easy because, again, they're super basic motors. They didn't change much from the 70s to the 80s. Even all the way up towards the 90s, they didn't change much in their designs. Yeah, it is the F word, but it's Tiny. I can help Tiny out. Tiny's a homie, man. If you want to make it bulletproof, I can teach you how to make any engine bulletproof. That's not hard. Especially a 5 liter. You can build some monster 5 liters. Not for very, like I said, not for much money, you know. Why don't we just go to the junkyard and pull a 5 liter, dude? They're super cheap. You can get 5 liters right now at the junkyard for nothing, man. They came in almost every Ford imaginable back in the 80s and 90s, and they're in all the junkyards because, you know, they're junk. Exactly. They come in a Crown Vic, a Mustang. They even came in fucking Rangers, F-150s. So, I mean, they're all the old ones, the new ones, the biggest difference they changed was mostly the type of fueling. You know, carbureted to fuel injected. So, you're pretty open on your options, man, honestly. On which one you get. Yep, Thunderbird had it. The ugly, ugly, horrible car. They had it. So yeah, let's go find a 5-liter and freaking pull it out and go from there. I mean, you can do that, or you can build a turboed 5-liter for nothing, and it'll make more power for a lot less money. 5-liters are kind of like the 12-valve VR6s of the engine world. They're extremely basic, but can take boost as long as you got the right crank and the right internals in them. They'll take boost for days, man. Dual KL3s on a 5.0, they'll make no power. Those turbos are too small. Alright, manifolds out. So I gotta unbolt this so I can get access to this. $13. Dang, that's on there hard. Try to hit it with a rubber mallet and nothing harder. Pop it right off with rubber. Now we're down to 16s and then the 12s, and then that's all off. Accessories are now removed after that. We move on over to the coolant side, the turbo, and we're good. That'll remove pretty much everything around it. Then we move it all back to the engine. Typically you want to put the accessory bracket back on, then your accessories, then do all your plumbing underneath, do all the sensors that you have underneath, replace all of that first before you start putting the manifold and then making yourself a difficult tight spot to work with. Remember, you still got the oil lines here for your turbo. You still have the oil cooler if you're going to move that over. We actually got a new oil cooler for him. Thermostat housing, we're going to go pick one of those up. A new thermostat, we might as well service that while we're here on the new block. That way it's all taken care of. You got you got knock sensors here. You got a crank sensor down here. Let's see what else we got. You got this bracket, which we got to replace because the threads are shot. On this one, I'm going to see if I can repair the threads, but if not, I'm replacing it. So this bracket has to come over. This has a middle timing cover, which we'll benefit from, so we'll move that over. We're missing one bolt on the balancer, so we're going to swap that. Power steering pump, AC compressor, all that has to go over. So yeah, on this side, and then we got to work our way on this side. We're actually going to work on this side of the engine to pull everything out as much as we can as one solid piece. It's hard, but you can do it. This motor's dripping coolant. Still. Get my 16. I'll turn the engine around once I get all this stuff removed over here. That way you guys can see the other side. Now, when you're removing all this stuff, it is now officially a good time to start taking things apart, cleaning them, and painting them. If you want to give yourself give your engine bay a good, nice little theme, a color theme, it is now the best time to do that when you're taking stuff apart and putting it back together. What's better, KO3S or is that a real question, George? I mean, KO4 is a bigger turbo, so I mean, 15 to 20% bigger than a KO4, but yeah, I mean that is a better turbo. KO4 is better, but you got to keep in mind you can't just swap a turbo over and call it, you know, a day. You got to get fuel injectors, you got to get intercooler piping, a bigger exhaust, you got to get a tune, you got to change your intercooler, your turbo inlet pipes. I mean, by the time you're all there, you know, I don't know your budget, but it's cheaper to go to a big turbo and just forget about KO4, honestly, altogether. But again, it all depends what your end goal is. It's all about the end game. You just want a nice, peppier car, then yes, go KO4. It's 100% worth it over a KO3. Night and day difference in performance. But you just got to remember, the value is not there. There's no real value going from KO3 to KO4. And just to be honest. You know, but again, it varies from person to person, you know. I've had a KO4, I had a KO4 22. Now, if you're going for a KO3 to a KO4 22, then yes, amazing value for your dollar, because you can make up to 300 wheel horsepower with that turbo versus a KO4, which maxes around 260, maybe 270. You know, and that's, I mean, when I mean maxes out, you're maxing it out. You're pushing that little turbo to its limits. All right, accessories are removed. Next step is to move the main bracket. All right, that's taken care of. Now the next step is to turn this around and do the coolant side. Since all the important stuff is already removed on this side, I mean there's still more important stuff to get rid of, but if we loosen up the coolant lines over here and the small system over here first, then we work our way over here, because we're going to break stuff. If nothing's been ever removed on this side, you're going to break it. Be forewarned, you're going to spend another 50, 60 bucks on parts just because it's going to break. It's old stuff and it's really brittle. It's going to break. Don't be surprised when it breaks. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, alright? Old gasket, don't need it. So we're going to turn the engine over right now. Well, not turn it over, but turn it around. These are coolant lines and vacuum lines, so we try to keep everything as one piece again, guys. That way it makes it easy for the next part of the job. Hopefully I don't drop the engine. So over here, you got your main coolant hard line here, and your EGR valve or your combi valve that's right here on this side. So our goal to make sure everything is safe during the removal process is we want to remove, like these lines right here are attached to this hard line. So this hard line is all a part of the coolant system. And this coolant system is attached to the turbo. So there's a couple little things here you got to be patient with when you start taking it off, because you can start damaging stuff pretty quickly. So what I'm going to do is remove these two lines. There's these two bolts here that'll take this metal pipe out of the way. That'll save that portion. We can remove this hose, which wouldn't be a bad idea. So like I was saying, we can remove this one here. Since this thing overheated, they're not going to be that simple to remove. Ay, ay, ay. They got a bit too hot, so let me see here before I start yanking stuff. Ooh, that's a lot of water. That was just sitting inside the hose. Ha! A lot of rust. Yeah. He might have to replace his hose too. I might have a spare set of heater hoses for him, so he might luck out. I'm not sure yet. Not there, but we'll get there. So there's two 10 mils right here on the head. I gotta make sure I don't lose any hardware. Out of sight, out of mind. Out of sight, out of mind. These all go with this. That just leaked, didn't it? Where did it go, pee-pee? Where'd the motor go, pee-pee? I don't know, it went pee-pee somewhere, I heard it. Oh well. It'll show itself. Okay, so there's a bolt here that holds this whole entire hard line right here, guys. So don't forget it. It's right here on the bottom of the block. Right here. Everybody forgets this one. And everybody remembers it's on there pretty dang snug. So now, see, this coolant line is now loosey-goosey. So this coolant line shares the vacuum line for the turbo. So you can remove your turbo inlet pipe. That way when you get to this part, you'll be able to access the line a little bit better. Now we're going to cut this vacuum line because it's a pain. It's probably cooked on there already, and we'll detach it from this, so we know that goes there. So this one, it's on its own now. It's a part of the turbo and the EGR system. So you're going to need to remove this EGR line, or not, vacuum line here. So the whole EGR system that's right here attached to it is all one piece. And we move that over to the block and we're good. So that way we don't lose stuff. Next is over here on this side of the block. So you got your oil lines here that have to come off as part of your line assembly. There's a vacuum line that's right here. You can cut this because we're going to replace it anyways. So this whole assembly comes off as one. If you want to fish it out, you can fish it out, and I'll show you guys. Not that hard. Again, it's part of the EGR system. So we're going to pull out the EGR right now. Actually, the lower PCV hose, since that's going to be in my way right now. Nope. Come on. Whew. It is really hot in this garage. Man, I am dripping sweat. Alright, gotta remove a bolt. It's keeping me from removing this. Okay, so next thing is this guy over here. The hockey puck. The notorious hockey puck that we hate so much because it fails so often. Ah. No AC or fan. Nope. That's a luxury hotel, buddy. I can't afford that. Whew. I got water and ice, and I don't even have that right now. And I don't put on a fan because it's noisy, because you guys can hear it, and I don't want you guys to hear it. All right, that worked out better than I thought. So, all right, so here's this. So you'll see here, this whole assembly is all part of the coolant and EGR and main coolant line. So we're gonna try to pull all this off as one piece together. Right here, let's see, where's the Allen head? So there's a bolt here, a bolt right down here. So there's two that hold the metal line in place. That metal, that metal line is pretty much your main feed line for your oil cooler. This is also feeds to your heater core. So these two lines, and your feeds your turbo. So this actually feeds 3 sources right now for cooling. A mic sock? I can't. There's no mic attached to the GoPro. It's all part of the GoPro that you guys are watching. I'm actually using my GoPro to stream this right now. Okay, so back to what I was talking. So I need my 5mm over there. It's alright, I'll live. As long as I'm not in direct sunlight, I am perfectly fine. Alright, so now this main coolant hardline is disconnected. Hopefully. Let's see here. So what's keeping you attached now? Should be nothing here attached to. There's nothing here. Besides the transmission being in the way, but it shouldn't be an issue. Should actually be able to help me. There's nothing else holding this line together. What the hell? Why is it so tight? There's nothing else here. No, something is holding it, and I don't know what it is. And I already took off all the main hardware off of here. I'm so confused right now. I've taken this line out a million times. I've never had it happen like this. This line is in there. Well, on a positive note, not overly concerned about that line because I have a brand new one for him. So I'm not going to worry about it as much as I thought I would. So I'm going to leave that be for the moment. I'm going to remove the combi valve. The two oil lines here and this line, and that'll detach itself from all that. There's a water leak. Talk about pain in the booty. Oh, man. Sucks we have 20-year-old hoses just not coming off. Such a pain. So here's the EGR valve. We're legitimately stuck here because of a stupid hose. One hose is preventing all this to come off. And this thing is stuck to it really good. Yeah, I'm going to have to cut it off. Oh. Yep, 1.8T with an O2J trans. Sorry, Mark. We're going to buy some more hoses. Hopefully you got some extra cash, because, man, I can't salvage a lot of stuff, unfortunately. Hopefully you understand. JAMR Productions. The easiest way to pull a transmission out is make sure you remove the axle cup, the cup that sits on the back of the transmission, where the axle bolts into, the actual cup. Unbolt that, drain your transmission gear oil, because you're going to make a mess if you don't. And then once all the bolts are off and you take that cup off, you're going to pull it, you're going to turn it counterclockwise up, pull it out, and then drop, and I turn it clockwise again, and it should hit the ground. Just be careful not to crack it. But yeah, these cups right here on the where the transmission is, where the axles bolt into, the 6 bolts, there's a bolt right in the middle of that. It's an Allen head. You need to remove that so the transmission cup comes off. Because if not, it's going to get caught back here on the back of the transmission. It's going to make your life a living hell. Another thing too, while you're doing that, make sure you have a jack on the engine already, so you can lift it and drop it slowly. It helps with making space. Yep, that's correct. JAMR Productions. You're welcome, man. And just take your time. Don't risk the transmission dropping too hard, because you'll end up breaking it. And then you'll end up buying a new transmission or trying to find a new transmission. Well, these heater lines, no biggie. So This is kind of the goal you want, is to have the spaghetti monster come all off as one. Makes it easy to move everything over to the next motor. Just move it out of sight, out of mind. Whew. Yep, it's almost done. Not bad for a little bit of space, right? Okay. This engine is actually from 2002 GTI. My friend Mark, the local kid that I've been helping rebuild this car. So it's from a local kid, and his name is Mark. Not mine. I just built him a motor, so now we're moving everything over from this motor to his. My gasket's toast. So next step here is the discharge pipe. With this really nice turbo blanket. I'm actually I want to find, if any of you guys know where to get these turbo blankets that are not the slip-on ones, but these are like button-up style that actually are much better. Like this. If you guys know where to find blankets like this, please hit me up. I'm looking for a downpipe one and for an actual turbo one that has more of a solid. You see this on the inside? This is solid. The ones that are out there that are like blankets, they're like filled, and what happens, like after about 6 months to a year, they just fall apart, and it just makes a mess in the engine bay. So if any of you guys know where to find these snip-on, this like clip-on turbo blankets, please, 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 Facebook me, message me, email me, call me. I don't care. Find me a link where I can find these really nice style turbo blankets. Way better than the stuff you buy online right now. The clip to the turbo, and I don't want to lose this one. These are actually hard to find. That's right, 1.8, 1.9, All day, every day. So I actually put RTV in there? No, it's just dirty. Okay, so now we got that. We got this one, so now we got to take out these two pipes, and then this whole entire discharge pipe will come off as one. So now the discharge pipe is off. One complete assembly for that. Now, while you're at it, once you took everything off, put stuff back. Yeah, the ALH is one of the best motors ever made. That thing will never fail on you. Pretty much a freaking tank motor. I'm not even kidding. I'm actually getting ready to build a pretty powerful ALH motor down the road for the future. I'm really impressed on their numbers and the power you can make out of those little tiny motors, man. It's impressive. Now that I know how a 200 horsepower diesel engine feels, I want to feel what a 250, 300 horsepower ALH feels. I seen it built and I want to build one. So here we want to remove the turbo as a whole unit. So when you take it all apart, really be careful on some of the stuff you remove. That way you can reuse it, because you don't want to break anything. Oh, that sucks. What's going on, Delusive? ABA is a great commuter engine, not a performance engine. I mean, you can build them, don't get me wrong. Okay? So don't try to be like, oh, no. Yes, you can build them. And a lot of people do build them. I'm not against that. But it's just not a... It's just, to me, it's just not worth it. ABA is an amazing daily engine that if you want to buy a car, a used Volkswagen in general, 2-point slow all day, man. You know, if you just want to buy a car that you don't want to worry about, just buy a 2-point slow. If you can find one with the low miles, do it. I will not hate you for it at all. Little turbo still got life in it. Yep, that's right. You can get 300 pounds of torque all day out of a ALH. For what I type, what do you think could be the problem? You just answered it. It's your clutch. You answered your own question, man. That's 100% clutch. So next is a heat shield right here. There's a 13 and another 13 that holds this bracket. So be careful with these little heat shields because they will break. Yeah, I mean, if your clutch is out, like dying, it can fail completely where you can't get into gear. So your symptoms are pretty much there. It could be a wire. It could be your harness, man. The harness might be shorting. I would definitely inspect all the wiring because they're super common for failing, especially at this age now. So I don't know if you saw the new DIY I made a while ago or a couple weeks ago. I made a 1.8T harness DIY for the coil pack. I highly recommend doing that DIY, especially if you have issues with your coils where they fry or they short out all the time. More than likely your coil harness is on the way out, or it's shorting out and you got to replace all of it. It's very, very common now, especially with these older cars. Here, and then there should be a bolt there. Let's see. I gotta remove the coolant line from that side. Actually, not gonna remove the line from over here. That's gonna be problems too. Okay, that line is removed and out of my life. So that coolant line can be removed. I just need to remove this oil line and then unbolt the oil line here from underneath the turbo, not from the oil pan. Even though the pan is drained, I don't want to dump any more oil into the ground. And then pull all that off, move it over, and then work on the front. And then actually I can do the front and then work my way back here. And all I gotta do is unbolt the 3 bolts on top of the turbo, which should be a 16 or a 17. 17. I love 1.8Ts. They're my favorite engines. I got 2 of them right here. There's one on my left and one right here in front of me on my right. I got one in my car. I just built another 1.8T big turbo for Ian. I mean, 1.8Ts I live and breathe, man. They're probably one of the most solid motors you can build for very, very budget oriented, you know, horsepower builds. If you want to go under the 500 horsepower, you can build them all day for $3,000 or less to make that kind of horsepower. Yeah, all my engines have O2Js. That's what you see here. I don't like O2Ms. I don't like 6-speed transmissions. Number one, dollar for dollar. I mean, you're getting the 6 gear, but you're paying the premium for 6 gears. I mean, 6-speed manual transmission, freaking axles are $150 to $200 an axle. Clutches are anywhere from $600 to $1,000. Where with $1,000, I can get a stage 2, stage 3 clutch. I could probably throw in brand new axles with that, and probably a set of brake pads and rotors all together for that kind of money. Where you just buying one clutch, you know, with $2 grand, with $3 grand. Think about this. Just put this in perspective. With $3,000 on an O2J, I can get Raxels, a stage 3 clutch, and a limited slip differential, and have money left over to upgrade some hardware. Where an O2M 6-speed transmission with $3,000 will give you a stage 2, maybe a stage 3 clutch for about $1,500 to $1,800, and axles, and you're done. And you still need a diff if you want to handle that kind of power. Delusive, yes, it will cause your problems. You know, if it is the original harness, I mean, more than likely that's your problem, man. Honestly, I haven't had a 1.8T after 20 years not have a coil harness problem. I'm actually having that problem right now. I'm gonna be doing the 034 Motorsports coil harness next. Since we did the ECS tuning one, I'm gonna do 034 Motorsports this time around and see how that works out. But yeah, more likely it's your harness, buddy. Again, inspect it. Don't assume that's what it is. Confirm it. Okay, so that line is detached. Next is the line that's on the other side. We got to remove that too. Let's come over here. Okay, so the oil line is now removed. Last is but not least for the turbo is the two lines. What's up, Patrick? Yeah, man, same here. Believe it or not, I've only had a garage for about a year. The last 7 years, I've had a driveway and a hallway to put my tools in. I had one rack to put parts on, and then one wall in between that rack, about a 3-foot gap, and that was it. That was my entire garage. If you look on my early videos, you can see what I mean. For 7 years, I've had a driveway, and I finally was able to convince my wife to give me the garage so I could make more content in a garage. AKA now, Peach House Garage is now relevant. Woo! But yeah, 7 years, buddy. So don't feel bad. I've been in your shoes. Thank you, man. I feel like I deserve it. I don't know if my wife feels the same, but you know. I feel like I deserve this little space. A little home away from home, you know. All right, Jamar. Again, you put the clutch down and it won't go into gear. You thought it was a slave cylinder. It's having the exact same issue. It just revs like crazy. So the only thing you can do to confirm your problem right now is to pull your transmission out and then look at it. Look at the flywheel, look at the pressure plate, look at your throwout bearing. Send me pictures if you're worried about it, man. I will help you as best I can. But you just describing it to me, I'm not going to be able to give you an answer. You know, I'm going to just tell you right now, I dislike being sent just a very, very minimal message with very vague details, no pictures, no codes, no nothing. Just saying, I have a problem. What's the problem? When you just say, oh, it just revs and it goes like that, well, it doesn't help me much. You know? I'm not a magician. Sometimes I think I am, but I know I'm not. You need to, number one, sit down, think about what's going on. The most obvious choice is probably the right one. And from what you're explaining to me, more likely it's the clutch failing. I mean, it's just to be honest with you, the way that you're describing your issues right now, it's probably the clutch. Since you said the slave cylinder, you just swapped it out. Even though you didn't confirm it was a slave cylinder, you just swapped out the part just because you just felt like that was the case. So, I mean, pull the transmission out and thoroughly look at it. Give yourself a visual answer before you buy anything for your car. That way, you know what the actual problem is. Because the throwout bearing, the fork that goes in here can fail. The pressure fork can fail. I do Snapchat, but I won't respond to it. I hate it. Hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. That way I can look at the content that you're sending me and thoroughly inspect it, versus like a quick 10-second video that I can't look back at. You're better off just sending me through Instagram or Facebook. Just look up Pinchel's Garage and I'll give you a better answer with some pictures, you know. Give me pictures. Even better, give me a video. Give me something to work with. The generalized answer is really not an answer. You know, just to be honest with you. Get my wobble head. Yeah, man, that's probably the best response you'll give me tonight. You know, and that's probably the best thing, idea, or step you have right now. Is pull that trans out. Ooh, that sucks, Patrick. If you bent that ABS ring and you can't bend it back nicely, but sorry, man, you're gonna have an ABS light kick on pretty soon. So be ready for that. That shit sucks, man. I've had that happen to me too. I had it happen when I was actually pressing a bearing and I accidentally like had something Thank you, Christian. It's a lot of hair, right? So there you go, the oil line is removed. Now we just got to remove the lower bracket. We'll unbolt it so the turbo can come right off. Maybe. Old stuff sucks, man. Nice. Whew, that thing's on tight. Not supposed to be on that tight. You got 8 lights on in your cluster? What, did you get water in your car or what? Christian? What the hell happened? When did this happen? How did you do to your car? Your car was just running great. Oh, you just tried collecting all the... Okay, now you're making a joke. Okay. You gotta be worried, man. Oh, coolant line. Ah, I forgot the stupid coolant line. Ah. Hey, Christian, you down to go pull some motors again? You down to go with me and go pull some couple motors from the junkyard? Here comes the coolant leak. Let that drain for a minute. Well, where's it leaking oil from, Christian? What the hell happened, dude? Do you know where it's leaking oil from? Your airbag light flashes. Is that normal? It flashes if you have something on the seat without the seatbelt buckled in. Like if you have something sitting on this passenger seat, it'll flash. Whoo, it's a lot of water. But if there's nothing on the seat, no, it's not normal. Oh, look at the little baby turbo. Oh, it's so adorable. He's so cute. Alright, well, it's completely taken apart. Couple little things, I got a couple little things here and there, but the engine's taken up. I mean, yeah, I completely tore apart the engine already. So these threads look good. They still look healthy. I don't know if these bolts are good. We might have to order new bolts. The threads look healthy in here, so turbo still looks good. So I mean, yeah. Oh, done. Now I got to move it all back to the other one. It's got this manifold. I got another manifold. I might just replace his and get a different one, but I gotta see if this is still intact and good. That uses a 12. Let's see. Okay, so JAMR. Never again. If you ask me for a two-step or a crackle pop tune, I will not help you. However, if you're looking for a tune to give your car some real power, and you don't do none of that dumb shit that literally breaks your car, I will give you proper advice. So, thank you, Boo. Thank you. What a spick. Exactly what I recommend. Boost Dynamic Tuning. But don't be putting that two-step or crackle pop crap on your car. If you come back around and ask me for help after you do that, I am not going to help you. You literally just dug your own grave. I'm just telling you that right now off the bat. So hopefully you understand that and you get the point, because you know I ain't about breaking your car. Yeah, snack crackle. Yeah, leave the snap crackle pop for your bowl of cereal and not your car. That's right. What a spick. Completely destroys your turbo because you're literally making explosions in your exhaust. And for any reason one of those explosions doesn't like it, it will go backwards and legitimately just create a lot of back pressure and snap or crack your turbo or cause your turbine to just go and explode. No, your car doesn't have snack crackle pop by stock. You probably put a downpipe and you didn't tune it, so it's running rich, and you don't have a cat, so it's not running properly. So that's probably why you have snap crackle pop. So more than likely that's probably what you did, and that's why it makes that noise. And the reason why that happens is because you're literally telling the car to run without a cat, which it compensates for fueling wise. So what happens, you take the cat out and you put a bigger downpipe. The car is expecting that your cat is burning the fuel. So when the second O2 sensor sees that, it's compensating for it. So what's happening is that it's actually just like, holy crap, it's running super rich. It leans out your fueling, which means in turn it gets really hot. And that's how you get the pop, because you're running really hot. What's going on, Bob the Magician? So every time you're accelerating, you decelerate, and your car goes pop, 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 or crackle, crackle, is because you're actually running the car poorly. My car, I have a straight pipe stage 22 turbo, whatever you want to call it, tune on my car. I make 450 horsepower. My car does not do snap, crackle, pop, or two-step. It drives flawlessly. Even when I accelerate, decelerate, I don't make pop noises at all. Yes, I've done two-step videos, and I can show you what a two-step video will do to your, what a two-step does to your car. You know? Oh. Damn, Bob. That is totally terrible, dude. Holy crap. There you go, Bob. Help him out. Give him the two-step and snap, crackle, pops. But again, any real tuner will tell you just don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. If they're a good tuner and they're an honest tuner, they know for a fact it's not worth it. One thing that is worth it, though, is pretty much a rev limiter, not a rev limiter, but anti-lag or launch control. Those I believe in, you know. Yeah, Patrick, on the power steering relocation, on the bottom where the hose goes and curves a little bit, you want to cut a notch into your what's it called? A notch into your, like, I guess you want to call it the core support. There's a lip that comes out of the core support. You want to cut a notch into that, so that way the hose curves into that nicely. It's in the video if you didn't see it. I cut a pretty big notch. It's about the size of about 2 inches notch. That way when you curve the hose in, it curves in nicely and it doesn't rub on anything. Yeah. Not the fan shroud, not the fan shroud. That's different. It's the core support. There's a lip on the bottom corner of that core support that kind of like kicks on the fan shroud. That's not even, you're not even close to that. Thank you, Bob the Magician. Another tuner to confirm pretty much what I'm saying. Two-step and crackle pops isn't worth it. Thank you. Ugh. I actually deleted the two-step from my car and the snap, crackle pop. So there you go. I don't think JAMR liked my comment. I don't think he's commenting anymore. All his friends will have two-step, so he wants to have two-step. I mean, you can get it. By all means, go for it. You know? Yeah, I mean, it sounds good, but it destroys turbos. Oh, that's why. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that too. What do all the emissions delete do? They don't do anything besides exactly that. Delete your emissions. In other words, all the sensors and all the vacuum lines that control your emissions are gone. So that's it. It doesn't improve any type of performance, gas mileage, or anything like that. It just deletes it out of the car. So 2 things. Less things that fail on you. Actually 3 things. Let me give you. Less things that fail. You can't pass smog. And then it looks better in your engine bay. That's pretty much it. There's no actual performance improvement at all. is just purely aesthetics, honestly. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But again, just like I said, there's no real benefit to it though. Like real benefit. No, Patrick, you don't get lower MPG. If you fix everything the way it works, and the tune is done right to run without it correctly, you don't notice any difference in your MPG at all. You don't get an improved MPG. You just don't notice a difference. My car, again, making 400, 500 horsepower. I still have factory gas mileage as long as I don't step on it. No, I don't know who that is. Alright, so everything's taken apart. Pretty much the engine stripped down. So next step tomorrow is to start moving things over there. But I'm going to be cleaning a lot of this stuff. A lot of this stuff is going to get cleaned before it goes back on the motor. I don't want it to look like this. JMR, okay. I mean, if you want to throw away your money, go for it, man. If you make enough money to not care about money and not care about the car, do whatever you want, dude. 100%. Do whatever you want. But don't go around complaining and blaming the tuner or blaming someone who recommended something to you properly and then at the end regretting it because you screwed up at making a decision on, I just want to look cool. You know, why don't you look cool by building your car and making it look legit, you know, instead of just making it sound dumb, you know? I don't know. That's just me. You know, again, I respect everything to a point, but when it has no real purpose, I don't care. Bob the Magician, yes, one big Patreon update, buddy. I'm actually making a list this week to post on Patreon to give you guys a side-by-side comparison in prices versus the VR6 Turbo and the VR6 NA. So we're going to be posting that very soon so you guys can make a final true decision on what we're going to be building next. Yeah, I mean, again, do it. By all means, go for it, you know? Again, have fun. And obviously, I mean, you're young and you want to have fun with your car. But don't get mad when you're stranded in the middle of nowhere because you needed to get to school or get to work and the car dies because you decided to two-step on the freeway or two-step, you know, and blow your turbo up, you know? Oh, believe me, I would love to do an NA VR with nitrous. That'd be super dope. Or we can do a turbo VR with nitrous. I mean, it's not a bad idea. It's not hard to do either. Do like a 25, 50 shot of NAS. That'd be fun. Whew. If you guys have any more questions, I'm going to call it a night. I'm pretty tired now. 12 o'clock here in California. I'm still 100% for Headspacer only type build. Nothing that needs huge budget, but still crazy power. Yep, definitely Stancy. Dude, you know how expensive it would cost to do hydraulics on a Mark IV? Because you have to make everything fully independent. Oh my god, it'd be dope. And it's been done. It's actually been done. I think there's a guy in LA that has a fully built Mark IV on full independent suspension on hydraulics. It's insane, but Tiny supercharger or turbo? Ooh. Now, what kind of supercharger are we talking about? Are we talking about a centrifugal charger, or are we talking about an actual bolt-on like Jackson Racing supercharger, belt-driven charger and stuff? Because there's two different kinds. There's a pro charger where it looks like a turbo, and it's got a belt on it that creates boost, which is still considered a supercharger, but they call it pro chargers. And then you can go with a standard old school like supercharger or blower is what we call it. I don't know if anybody makes one for a VR6. I think we have to go to pro charger because I don't think they make an actual like a blower style charger. I mean, I could be wrong. So I mean, if you guys have any information on that, please tune me in. I'll be very intrigued. It'd be dope. It'd be super dope to have something like that. And Christian, yes, I will let you know when I'm ready to start pulling motors. I need to go get another VR6 and another 1.8T soon. So yeah, I'll hit you up for that. Exactly, Tiny. It's exactly what that is from VF Engineering, that turbo kit, the supercharger kit. It's $4,000 though. And you don't make a lot of horsepower. That's the only downside. It makes a lot of low end power. I think it makes like 300 to 320 for almost $5,000, where I can do that and a motor for that much money. So yeah, no. Yes, that's correct, Patrick. The rear end on those Audi TT is independent. In the rear, yes. Dude, Tiny, send me some links on that. I would like to see that. That'd be freaking dope. Because you can find those in junkyards. Doing all-wheel drives from a... Okay, so... for Bob the Magician, I would love to do an all-wheel drive swap in the Mark IV, but realistically, I don't have fabrication skills. I'm not really good at welding, and honestly, I would never trust myself to learn how to weld and drive a car with my welding skills, which is non-existent. Okay. Yeah, no, I don't think I would do that. No, it's just. I can see myself putting this thing together and just having it fall apart like the first month that it's put together. No, I wouldn't want to do that. Not to myself. Number one, for the sheer amount of time invested in that. Now, if I paid someone to do that, to do the welding for me, I don't think many shops would want to do that. Or, hey, what's up, Steve? I don't think any shop would want to do that, number one, and would make it affordable. I mean, you know, if I take it to a fab shop, they'd probably charge me at least 5 to almost 10 grand to weld a car, because I got to weld the back end of the TT, because the bottom half of the TT has to literally be welded in to the car. Channel made for the drive line, and then obviously I After all that, I still have to move the entire power plant from the engine side. I mean, by the time I'm done, it's a $20,000+ car, where it'd be cheaper for me to wait another 4 or 5 years. Actually, no. What are we, 2021? 4 years. I can wait 4 more years, go to Canada, and go buy an all-wheel drive Jetta right off the bat, and then just build it from there. Yeah, exactly, Patrick. No, you can't just fab an exhaust channel. So remember, the back end of a Jetta is, or a Mark IV, is a solid rear end, and the gas tank sits further back. So for you to move, put an all-wheel drive, the way that people do it is that they cut legitimately the whole back end of a TT, Jetta, or an R32, the back end where the gas tank and the wheel well sits, and they take that whole entire back end, they cut it. Legitimately just cut that all out in a perfect shape. And then you copy that cut and you weld it to the car. That's the back end, because you need to bolt on, you need to have an independent rear suspension. The independent rear requires axles on its own because there's a diff in the back, and there's 2 separate axles for that diff. Plus your holodeck controller and all the wiring for that. Okay, so think about that. Yeah, Aaron, exactly. It is easy when you have all the proper equipment, but it's not cheap. Okay? And then once you do that, obviously you got to make the channel for the whole entire exhaust and the drive shaft. And then you're done. And then the front end is just stock Mark IV stuff. But it's a lot of work. And you got to remember, you got to pull the whole entire harness for the holodeck controller. And you also need the ECU. You know, so you need all of that. And you got to make all new wiring for all that. So what people do instead, they go Syncro. Okay, look up that. Look up Volkswagen Syncro. Old school all-wheel drive. It's constant all-wheel drive. They get them out of old Volkswagen buses or Vanagons. Way, way better because it's all manual. It's all manually controlled. So Volkswagen Syncros, look that up and you'll understand what I mean after that. Yes, Bob the Magician, they do make the Volkswagen Jetta all-wheel drive in Canada and in everywhere else except the United States. Thank you. Yes, Tiny, the Mark IIIs have it too, the Syncro. Old school, no controller, no nothing. It's legitimate, just gears, and that's it. There's no computer to control it. So that's what's really cool about the Syncro setups. Bulletproof. And you live in Canada, you never seen one? Wow. What part of Canada do you live in? Because they're pretty common. 2 of my friends have them out there. They have them down in Montreal. They're both Canadian Bora R's. So I don't know where you live, or maybe in your area they're just not common. But you guys have them. It's kind of like a GLI. It's called a Bora R. Look it up. It looks like a Jetta, but it looks like an R32, but in a Jetta form, pretty much. I know. I want a wagon all-wheel. They also made all wagons all-wheel drive too. We got a couple of them here. We got a couple 4Motion wagons, but they're super rare. And when I mean super rare, they're super rare. Oh, you want a Mark III? Oh my God, Tiny. Talk about the creme of the creme. A Beetle RSI? You're talking about a freaking six of them that were made, and that was it. That's pointless. It's not a real car. It's a dream car, man. Talk about a super rare car. So Bob the Magician, when you say R32 motor, you're just saying 3.2 liter VR6? Because to me, when people say R32 motor, I think you have a VR6 with a full all-wheel drive swap from an R32. I consider that an all R32 swap. If you just have a 3.2 liter VR6, you literally just have a VR6 with an R badge on it. I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, that engine came in Audis. It came in the Audi TT. It came in an Audi A4. It came in the Passat. It came in pretty much, yeah. No, I agree. Not disagreeing with you, Tiny. It's just when people tell me, "Oh, I got an R32 swap," I go, "So you put a 3.2 liter VR6, you put the O2M all-wheel drive transmission and all that. You know, if you did all that, oh man, I accept that." Uh, that's dope. What do you think about wide body aero kits on Mark IV Golfs with vents? And Aaron, if going wide body, if you're using it for what it's for, then it's dope. If you're gonna use it, but if you're not using it, if you're just stancing, then no. It's just why you're gonna spend thousands of dollars in body work, paint, and brakes and all that stuff just to drive it to a car show and be a garage queen. Then why? I mean, what's the point? But if you're actually gonna use it, you got wide wheels for a reason. You got fender flares, whatever you want to call it, for a reason, because you're benefiting from the wider stance of the car, then yeah, by all means, hell yeah. Oh, I'm not going to be able to go Bureaucracy now because I got a new job. So, Pinche Al is moving on up in the world. So, he's got a new job, so he won't have time for any big events until next year, unfortunately. Just reading your guys' comments, just so you guys know. But Bob, please send me some pictures. I would love to see this car. Then Aaron, yes, it's dope. Do it. 100% worth it because it actually benefits the car. Yeah, dude, you don't understand, man. I want to meet everybody on my YouTube channel. I desperately need to meet all you guys and hang out, honestly. My email, pincheals.garage@gmail.com. Hell yeah, Hanley. I can't wait to see your lifted GTI or Golf. I can't remember if it was a GTI or a Golf, but I can't wait. I want to see that thing done finally, dude. Alright, well, I'm going to call it a night, guys. It's been a long day. We finally tore apart the engine completely. There's a couple little things, just the manifold and the motor bracket. But that's pretty much it. It's done. So we're going to come back and start putting it all back together after I clean all the parts. I do not... oh, TDI, even better. Hell yeah, dude. Even better. I don't want to move anything or touch anything here, so I'm just going to leave it as is and walk away. I will be back probably tomorrow or the day after and finish this up. If you guys have any questions, please hit me up via Facebook, Instagram, or email me. Please, please. I always comment and answer any comments as often as I can. I'm here to help, guys. Perfect. I'll check it out in just a minute, Bob. But I'm here to help. Everybody knows I will help you. If I don't help you immediately, you will get the help. It just takes time. As you can see, I've been doing a lot. So, thank you again. Have a wonderful night. And as always, guys, if you see another dubber on the road, give him a thumbs up. Give him a deuces. Respect one another. And as always, here at Pinchial's Garage, we're going to break, we're going to fix, and we're going to repeat. Because that's what we do here. And that's what it's all about. Peace out, everyone, and have a wonderful night. Oh my God, legs hurt. Oh. Jiminy Willikers. We got a mess in here.